Hello viewers, welcome to our channel Career Prep. In this video, we'll solve a few problems on the topic simple interest where you have to calculate the principal. Since questions based on this topic are most frequently asked in competitive exams, it makes sense to understand the concept well. Questions are dealt with in this video along with clear explanations to make you understand the concept clearly. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to get notifications as soon as we post a new video. So let's start. Finding the principal. The types of questions that are asked in competitive exams on this topic are: Type 1 is questions where simple interest, time and rate of interest are given. Type 2 is questions where there is an increase or decrease in the rate of interest. Type 3 is questions where a sum of money multiplies in a certain number of years. Type 4 is questions where the sum or difference or equality in simple interest or rate of interest or time is given. Let's solve a few problems on each of these types. Let's solve a few problems of type 1 where the simple interest, the rate of interest and time are given and you are asked to calculate the principal. A sum of money fetched a total simple interest of rupees 4016 and 25 paise at the rate of 9% per annum in 5 years. What is the sum? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. Now it's given that the simple interest is rupees 4016 and 25 paise. Rate of interest is 9% per annum and time is 5 years. We are asked to find the principal. Now the formula to find the principal is P is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by RT. Now substituting these values in the formula here, we get P is equal to 100 multiplied by 4016.25 divided by 9 multiplied by 5. On solving this, we get P is equal to rupees 8,925. So the sum is rupees 8,925. The correct answer is option D, rupees 8,925. What is the sum of money that will give rupee 1 as interest per day at the rate of 5% per annum simple interest? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. Now it's given that the simple interest is rupee 1 per day. Rate of interest is 5% per annum. If time is not given, it means you have to assume that time is 1 year. Now, there are 365 days in a year. It's given that the simple interest is rupee 1 per day. This means the sum of money will give rupees 365 as simple interest in a year. Now here we are asked to find the principal, which can be found out using the formula P is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by RT. Now substituting all these values in the formula here, we get P is equal to 100 multiplied by 365 divided by 5 multiplied by 1. On solving this, we get P is equal to rupees 7,300. So the sum of money is rupees 7,300. The correct answer is option C, rupees 7,300. A sum of money at simple interest amounts to rupees 815 in 3 years and to rupees 854 in 4 years. Find the sum. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here it's given that a sum of money at simple interest amounts to rupees 815 in 3 years, and the same sum of money amounts to rupees 854 in 4 years. So clearly here, the principal for 3 years is the same as the principal for 4 years. This means that the amount in 3 years is different from the amount in 4 years only because the simple interest for 3 years is different from the simple interest for 4 years. So if you subtract the amount in 3 years from the amount in 4 years, you will get the simple interest for 1 year. So simple interest for 1 year is equal to rupees 854 minus rupees 815, which is rupees 39. So if simple interest for 1 year is rupees 39, then simple interest for 3 years would be 39 multiplied by 3, which is rupees 117. So now we know that simple interest for 3 years is rupees 117, and it's given that the amount for 3 years is rupees 815, and we are asked to find the sum, that is the principal. Now we know that principal is equal to amount minus simple interest. Now substituting the values of amount and simple interest in the formula here, we get the principal is rupees 815 minus rupees 117, which is nothing but rupees 698. So the principal is rupees 698. The correct answer is option C, rupees 698. What sum will amount to rupees 7,000 in 5 years at 3 1/3% simple interest? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So it's given that the amount is rupees 7,000, time is 5 years, and rate of interest is 3 1/3% per annum, which is nothing but 10/3% per annum. And we are asked to find the principal. Now the formula to find principal is P is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by RT. Now here we know the value of R and T, but we do not know what is SI. Now we know that simple interest is equal to amount minus principal. Now amount is given as rupees 7,000. So substituting that value in the formula here, we get simple interest is equal to 7,000 minus P. Now let's substitute all these values in the formula here to find the principal. So now we have P is equal to 100 multiplied by 7,000 minus P divided by 10/3 multiplied by 5. On solving this, we get P is equal to rupees 6,000. That is, principal is rupees 6,000. The correct answer is option D, rupees 6,000. Let's solve a few problems of type 2 where an increase or decrease in the rate of interest is given in the question. A sum was put at simple interest at a certain rate for 2 years. Had it been put at 2% higher rate, it would have fetched rupees 400 more. Find the sum. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here in this question we have 2 conditions. In the first condition it's given that a sum was put at simple interest at a certain rate for 2 years. Now we do not know what is the sum. So let's assume that the sum is P. We also do not know what is the rate of interest. So let the rate of interest be R. And it's given that T is 2 years. Now in the second case, it's given that had it been put at 2% higher rate, it would have fetched rupees 400 more. So clearly here the sum and the time are the same. So for the second condition, Also the sum would be P and time would be 2 years. Only there is a difference in the rate of interest. It's given that in the second condition the rate of interest is 2% higher than the original rate of interest. Now since the rate of interest is increased by 2 and since the original rate of interest was R, it means that the new rate of interest is R plus 2%. Now according to the question, it's given that had the sum been put at 2% higher rate, it would have fetched rupees 400 more. This means that the simple interest at the new rate of interest which is higher is more than the simple interest at the original lower rate of interest by rupees 400. Now we know that simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. So according to the question, P multiplied by the new higher rate of interest which is R plus 2 multiplied by 2 divided by 100 minus P multiplied by the original lower rate of interest which is R multiplied by 2 divided by 100 is equal to 400. So on subtracting these two and on cross multiplication we get 2PR plus 4P minus 2PR is equal to 40,000. On solving this, we get P is equal to rupees 10,000. So the required sum is rupees 10,000. The correct answer is option C, 10,000. A moneylender finds that due to fall in the annual rate of interest from 8% to 7.3/4%, his yearly income diminishes by rupees 61.50. What was his capital? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here you are asked to find out the moneylender's capital. So let's assume that his capital is P. Now it's given that originally the rate of interest was 8% per annum. Then it decreased to 7.3/4% per annum. Now 7.3/4% is nothing but 31/4%. Now it's given that because of this decrease in the rate of interest from 8% to 7.3/4% per annum, the money lender's yearly income reduced by rupees 61.50. Now, yearly income is nothing but the simple interest on the moneylender's capital. So this means that the difference in the simple interest earned at 8% rate of interest and the simple interest earned at 7.3/4% rate of interest is equal to rupees 61.50. Now we know that SI is equal to PRT divided by 100. So according to the question, P multiplied by 8 multiplied by 1 divided by 100 minus P multiplied by 31/4 multiplied by 1 divided by 100 is equal to 61.50. On subtracting these two and then cross multiplication, we get 32P minus 31P is equal to 61.50 multiplied by 400. On solving this, we get P is equal to rupees 24,600. So the money lender's capital was rupees 24,600. The correct answer is option D, rupees 24,600. Let's now solve a few problems of type 3. Type 3 is questions where a sum of money multiplies in a certain number of years and you have to find out what is that sum of money, or you may have to find out what is the amount. If a sum of money deposited in a bank at simple interest is doubled in 6 years, then what will be the amount after 12 years? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. Now it's given that a sum of money deposited in a bank at simple interest doubles in 6 years. So let the sum of money be rupees X. Now it's given that in 6 years the sum doubles. So amount is rupees 2x. Now we know that simple interest is amount minus principal. So interest is equal to 2x minus x, which is rupees x. So principal is x, interest is x when principal doubles. Now you don't have to always do all these steps. If you understand the logic of how to get the interest. Now you know that amount is equal to principal plus simple interest. Now if principal is x and it doubles to become 2x, then simple interest has to be x. Because if principal is x, then simple interest has to be x so that the amount can be 2x. Similarly, if principal is x and it triples, then amount becomes 3x. Then simple interest has to be 2x. If principal is x, simple interest has to be 2x so that amount is 3x. Similarly, if principal is x and it becomes 4 times of itself so that the amount is 4x, then principal is x, so simple interest has to be 3x so that the amount is 4x. Similarly, if principal is x and it becomes 5 times of itself so that amount is 5x, then since principal is x, simple interest has to be 4x so that amount can be 5x. So hope you are understanding the logic here. If principal doubles, that is it becomes 2 times of itself, then simple interest is x. If principal becomes 3 times of itself, then simple interest is 2x. If principal becomes 4 times of itself, then simple interest is 3x. If principal becomes 5 times of itself, then simple interest is 4x. Hope you got the logic here. So here principal is x, it doubles, that is it becomes 2 times of itself. So interest is also x. Now here rate of interest is not given. So first let's find out the rate of interest using the formula R is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by PT. Now substituting these values in the formula here, we get R is equal to 100 multiplied by X divided by X multiplied by 6. On solving this, we get R is equal to 50 by 3%. Now here we are asked what will the amount be after 12 years. So principal is rupees X. We have found out that R is equal to 50 by 3% per annum. Time is given as 12 years. We have to find the amount. To find the amount, first we have to find the simple interest. And the formula to find simple interest is SI is equal to PRT divided by 100, which is nothing but X multiplied by 50 by 3 multiplied by 12 divided by 100. On solving this, we get SI is equal to 2X. Now, we know that we have to find out amount. Now amount is equal to P plus SI. Now P is X and SI is 2X. So amount is equal to X plus 2X, which is nothing but 3X. That is, amount is thrice the principal. So the correct answer is option A, 3 times the original amount. Let's solve a few problems of type 4. Type 4 is questions where the sum or difference or equality in simple interest or rate of interest or time is given. Praveen lends a part of rupees 20,000 at 8% simple interest and remaining at 4/3% simple interest. His total income after a year was rupees 800. Find the sum lent at 8%. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. Now as you can see here, it's given that the total income earned by Praveen after a year was rupees 800. Now total income is nothing but total simple interest. So here the sum of the simple interest earned in uh, the two cases is given. Now it's given that Praveen lends a part of rupees 20,000 at 8% simple interest and the remaining at 4/3% simple interest, and we are asked to find the sum lent at 8%. So let's assume that the sum lent at 8% rate of interest is rupees X. Now since the total sum lent is given as rupees 20,000, the sum lent at 4/3% rate of interest would be rupees 20,000 minus X. Now it's given that Praveen's total income after a year was rupees 800. This means the time is 1 year and total income is nothing but total interest. So the interest earned by Praveen on rupees the interest earned by Praveen at 8% plus the interest earned by Praveen at 4/3% is equal to rupees 800. Now we know that simple interest can be found out using the formula simple interest is equal to PRT by 100. Now according to the question, x multiplied by 8 multiplied by 1 divided by 100, which is the simple interest earned at 8%, plus 20,000 minus x multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4/3 multiplied by 1 divided by 100, which is the simple interest earned at the rate of interest of 4/3% is equal to 800. Now on solving this equation, we get x is equal to 8,000. So the sum lent at 8% is rupees 8,000. The correct answer is option B, 8,000. Rupees 500 was invested at 12% per annum simple interest and a certain sum of money invested at 10% per annum simple interest. If the sum of the interest on both the sums after 4 years is rupees 480, what is the latter sum of money? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So as you can see here, the sum of interest in both the cases is given here. Now it's given that rupees 500 was invested at the rate of interest of 12% per annum and a certain sum of money was invested at the rate of interest of 10% per annum. Now here we do not know what is the sum of money invested at 10% per annum simple interest. So let's assume that this sum of money is rupees X. Now here we are asked to find what is the latter sum of money. This means that we have to find the value of rupees X. Now it's given that the sum of interest on both the sum after 4 years is rupees 480. This means time is 4 years and the simple interest earned on rupees 500 at the rate of interest of 12% per annum plus the simple interest earned on rupees X at the rate of interest of 10% per annum is rupees 480. Now we know that simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. Now in the first case, it's given that the principal is rupees 500, rate of interest is 12% per annum. Time is 4 years. So substituting these values in the formula here, we can find out the simple interest for the first case. So simple interest gained from rupees 500 is equal to 500 multiplied by 12 multiplied by 4 divided by 100, which is nothing but rupees 240. So the simple interest on rupees 500 is rupees 240. Now we know that the simple interest on rupees 500 plus the simple interest on rupees X is equal to rupees 480. Now we have found out the simple interest on rupees 500 is rupees 240. So the simple interest on rupees X is equal to rupees 480 minus 240, which is rupees 240. So the simple interest on rupees X is rupees 240. Now we know that simple interest on rupees X is rupees 240. Principal is rupees X. Rate of interest is 10% per annum and time is 4 years in the second case. So substituting all these values in the formula here, we get 250 is equal to X multiplied by 10 multiplied by 4 divided by 100. On solving this, we get X is equal to 600. This means the latter sum of money is rupees 600. The correct answer is option D, rupees 600. The simple interest on a certain sum at 5% per annum for 3 years and 4 years differ by rupees 42. Find the sum. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So as you can see here, the difference in the simple interest is given here in this question. Now here it's given that the simple interest on a certain sum at 5% per annum for 3 years and 4 years differ by rupees 42. This means that the simple interest for 4 years minus the simple interest for 3 years is equal to rupees 42. That is, the simple interest for 1 year is rupees 42. Now it's given that the rate of interest is 5% per annum. And we are asked to find the sum, that is we have to find out the principal. Now principal can be found out using the formula P is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by RT. Now here we know that SI is rupees 42, R is 5% per annum and T is 1 year. So substituting these values in the formula here, we get P is equal to 100 multiplied by 42 divided by 5 multiplied by 1. On solving this, we get P is equal to 840. That is, the principal is rupees 840. The correct answer is option C, rupees 840. Ramya deposited a certain sum of money in a company at 12% per annum simple interest for 4 years and deposited an equal amount in fixed deposit in a bank for 5 years at 15% per annum simple interest. If the difference in the interest from the two sources is rupees 1350, then what is the sum deposited in each case? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. Now as you can see here, the difference in the simple interest from the two sources is given in this question. Now it's also given here that Ramya deposited a certain sum of money in a company. She also deposited an equal amount in fixed deposit in a bank. And we are asked to find what is the sum deposited in each case. So let the sum invested in the company be rupees X. Now since an equal amount is deposited in the bank, it means that the sum invested in the bank is also rupees X. Now it's given that the difference in the interest from the two sources is rupees 1350. This means the simple interest earned on rupees X deposited in the bank minus the simple interest earned on rupees X deposited in the company is equal to rupees 1350. Now we know that simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. So according to the question, X multiplied by 15 multiplied by 5 divided by 100, which is the simple interest earned from the bank, minus X multiplied by 12 multiplied by 4 divided by 100, which is the simple interest earned from the company, is equal to 1350. On solving this equation, we get X is equal to rupees 5000. Since the sum invested in the company and the sum invested in the bank are the same, it means that the sum deposited in each case is rupees 5000. So the correct answer is option D, rupees 5000. A sum of money lent out at simple interest amounts to rupees 720 after 2 years and to rupees 1020 after a further period of 5 years. Find the sum. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here the sum of money lent out in both the cases is the same. So it's given that a sum of money lent out at simple interest amounts to rupees 720 after 2 years. Now we know that amount is equal to principal plus simple interest. So in the first case, principal plus simple interest for 2 years is equal to rupees 720. This is equation 1. It's also given that the sum of money lent out at simple interest amounts to rupees 1020 after a further period of 5 years. After a further period of 5 years means 2 plus 5, that is 7 years. So the sum of money becomes rupees 1020 after 7 years. So in the second case, principal plus simple interest for 7 years is equal to rupees 1020. This is equation 2. So on subtracting equation 1 from equation 2, we get simple interest for 5 years is rupees 1020 minus 720, which is rupees 300. So simple interest for 5 years is rupees 300. Now let's consider equation 1. So if simple interest for 5 years is rupees 300, simple interest for 2 years would be 300 multiplied by 2 divided by 5, which is rupees 120. So substituting the value of simple interest for 2 years in equation 1, we get principal is equal to 720 minus 120, which is rupees 600. So the sum is rupees 600. The correct answer is option A, rupees 600. Viewers, please go through this video till you have understood the concept. Practice more such problems to increase your speed and also to understand the concept clearly. Please do watch a video on simple interest for solved problems on finding the rate of interest. If you have liked this video, please like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you.